Hi, we have a 2003 Lexus RX300. We are going to attempt to replace the old yellowed headlight with a new one that we bought on eBay. One of the first things we have to do is remove this bezel here and save that. There's a little clip right here that this is just going to pop out and remove. Alright, we're going to carefully remove this white bezel here using just a couple of screwdrivers, and there's a little protrusion right here that keeps the thing locked in place. So we're going to gently lift this up with screwdrivers and let that release from there. We identified that that bezel is attached via a screw that's coming in from the back of the headlight under the wheel well. The screw comes through here, through this hole, and it's also positioned by this pin made of plastic. If you look in there, you can see the screw coming through right there. And that has to be removed from the other side, and you can't get at it from under the hood. You have to go from under the wheel well. So we're gonna remove the covering on the wheel well so we can get to that screw. Alright, we're not removing the wheel. We're going to try it without removing the wheel. But right behind the headlamp, there's a Phillips screw here we're going to remove because we need to remove this shroud enough to be able to get at the screw that's underneath. So we're going to try to get this screw off, and then we're going to remove this one with a number 10 or a 10 millimeter socket wrench. There's another screw. Get up in there. There's another screw right there we're going to have to remove. And a couple more under the bumper that I think would be helpful to remove. Here's the part we're trying to remove, just under the bumper next to the wheel. Here's another one near the skid plate. I just want to remove that since we're on a roll, and they do come off fairly easily. Just want to remember when we put it all back together, we don't have any leftover screws, or we'll hear some rattling for sure. Looks like I have an oil leak. No, that's water. Ooh, we have progress. Progress. Nope. Just kind of stuck on the bumper fascia. These fascias have some flexibility to them. So let's remove this, get in this angle so they can see. This is what we want. A way to get up in there. And this is all tucked up under the sheet metal here, so Oh, and there's a tab right here, so we need to come up and over that tab which will mean we have to kind of force this fender toward the engine compartment somehow if we can. Let's see. I don't see any more that I can remove. Oh, here's one I can remove right here. One more screw right at 12 o'clock from the wheel. This may not be as daunting as I feared. This is again a Phillips. It's a 15-year-old car and these screws are coming out fine. I think this should do it. There's that last one. Now let's see if that gives us a little bit more maneuverability. Again, there's this tab right here. We need to go that way with the fender liner. There it goes. And that's enough. So now I've got a clear shot with my arm and a screwdriver. Get right down up in there because we need... Are we on? Okay, so about even with the top of your tire, and as you go in there, under the fender liner is that screw. So we're going to get the longest Phillips screwdriver we have and take it in there. Am I going the right direction?
Yeah.
And we're going to unscrew that baby. So that screw we just saw under the fender liner, the other side of that screw is right in here, and we're going to unscrew that. And we're going to hold this fender liner. Nice and easy. And when we screw that back in, when we're installing the headlight, it's just plastic that's holding it on, so we're not going to want to be too forceful with it. And there it is. And we'll remove that screw completely and drop it. Don't I have this one magnetized? Okay, that's it. Okay, before we go any further, we're going to make sure we get our wiring correct. So when I look at the back of this headlight, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 plugs going clockwise around. So we want to label those as we unplug the wires from the old ones. We'll unplug them in this order and we'll label those in the order. So number 1 is our blinker, and that's buried down under there, so we can't really get to it yet. So I'm going to start on number 2, which on this vehicle is a brown colored wire. Instead of unplugging the wire, I'm going to pull the light bulb out just by giving it a little twist. And then a pull. And there's our light bulb. Now we can actually save that light bulb, nothing wrong with it, still works. We'll throw that in a Ziploc bag. And we'll put that in our bag for later when we have a headlight burnout. But the product came with light bulbs already attached. And a little label. So we just removed the headlamp corresponding to number 2 on our new. So I'm going to just label that with a number 2. Okay, number 3 is the the smaller lamp. Here it is. I'll just put my hand in there, give it a little counterclockwise turn, I think. This would be easier if we just removed the battery. Counterclockwise turn, and then a pull straight back toward the passenger compartment reveals the headlamp. And yeah, it's going to be pretty hard to do this without removing that battery.